Hi everyone, thanks for joining in. I'm excited to have Nicola Marsh joining me. Hi Nicola.
Hi, how are you?
I've spoken to Nicola before, and Nicola's also a associated author of Global Girls Online Book Club, so great to have you back again.
Thank you. Great to
So,
be here.
So just a bit about Nicola. She's a US Today best-selling author and multi-award winner, and she writes page-turning fiction to keep you up all night, which I can totally agree with your books that I've read. She's published 80 novels and sold over 8 million copies worldwide. So I remember the first time I interviewed you. It's pretty amazing how many books you've written.
Yeah, thanks.
She currently writes contemporary romance and domestic suspense. She's a Walden Books, Bookscan, Amazon iBooks, and Barnes& and Noble bestseller, a Romantic Book of the Year and National Readers' Choice Award winner, and a multi-finalist for many other awards. A physiotherapist for 13 years, she now adores writing full-time, raising her two dashing heroes, sharing fine food with family and friends, and cheering on her beloved North Melbourne Kangaroos, and curling up with a good book. So thanks, Nicola, for joining us. I just wanted to mention as well that I've just finished reading The X Between Us and totally loved it. I've read a couple of your other domestic thrillers before and loved them, and I gave The X Between Us 5 stars. So yeah, I really, really loved it. It was a great read. Totally
Thank you.
recommend it to everybody.
Thank you so much.
So, do you want to? You've actually got two books out this year. Do you want to tell us a bit about them?
Sure. Well, with the X between us, looks like, oh, there, if you can see
There
it,
you
there
go.
it is.
Yep.
Um, that's actually set in the US. It's two friends who've been close friends since high school. Uh, but all isn't quite as it
Mm,
seems because one of the friends harbours a crush on the other's partner. And from there, we get a lot of complications,
mm, yep.
quite a few twists, and some nastiness happening towards the end.
Mm,
um, with the Promise of Home. That actually came out here in Australia with HarperCollins last week. I had a really fun launch at Robinson's Bookshop. That was really great. With that, it's in a small town, and we've got two conflicting parties who both want to get their hands on the real estate agency in town. So sparks fly there.
mm,
It's actually also told from 3 points of view. So we've actually got two stories in one, and
okay.
we've got an older couple. Heidi's 50, and her partner Jem's 69. So I quite like to sort of interweave plots into
Mm. And whereabouts is that one set?
Uh, it's actually in a small Victorian coastal town near Inverloch.
Mm,
It's actually not real,
mm,
but it was fun to invent.
mm.
And then next month, I've got a rom com coming out. Did not finish, which I hope nobody gives my books, which I had an absolute ball writing that. It's about a top-selling crime author and a well-known book reviewer who works for a newspaper who gets stranded with him for a week,
Oh, okay.
and there's a lot of complications that arise
Mm,
from that.
mm. And yeah, it's pretty amazing. You've got three books out. at around the same sort of time and that. And you say that seems to have been a pattern for you over the last few years, hasn't it?
It has been, but it really isn't my choice. I would
Yeah.
really rather have the books sort of like sort of over a few months.
Mm,
But because I've been writing for sort of three different publishers,
mm.
it just so happens that they all come out in a really very short
How do,
space
how do
of
you
time.
keep up with it all?
It's very tiring, and sort of
Okay.
like after that last book's out, I sort of stop and think, okay, now I can actually get back to writing the next
The
book.
next one, yeah.
Yeah.
It sounds like a never-ending
Oh,
process.
it is absolutely.
What do you do to keep yourself sane?
I read a lot,
Yep.
which I know sort of sounds like, oh, it's books. But yeah, I mean, I've always loved that.
Mm.
So
Anything you've read lately you want to recommend to us?
I've been reading completely out of my normal picks, I suppose.
Mm.
I've actually read this Guild.
Okay. I haven't
Um,
seen that one.
I actually I picked that up because I saw it everywhere on TikTok, and I
Mm.
thought, oh
Okay.
well, okay, it's really good, but it's not what I expected
Mm.
at all.
Mm.
Um, yeah, but it's really good, really good. And then I also bought this last week,
Okay.
Pandora,
Mm.
um, which is a historical mystery with some Greek myths, sort of,
Okay.
and it was really great,
Mm.
really good.
Mm.
Yeah.
No, well, thanks for those recommendations. I haven't heard of either of them before, so always good to have new ones. We've got quite a few people watching, so just wanted to remind people watching, if you have any questions for Nicola, please type them in comments and I can read them out. Sharon wonders if you'd always wanted to be an author.
I think so. I
Mm,
mean, like at school, um, I used to read 10 books a week. I was a
well,
real
yeah.
bookworm. Um, then when I got to high school, I loved English, so
Mm,
I loved to write. Um, then I did work experience at year 10, and I got sort of into a different career path altogether.
mm,
But sort of like in all that time, I always thought, one day I'd like to write a book.
mm,
And like I was actually at work, and I was just thinking about it. I thought, you know what, I'm sick of just thinking. I think it's time I do it.
mm,
So I just tried, and it was. And I mean, as far as timing goes, I was really lucky because I was expecting my first child when I sold my first book.
oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Mm,
so like I actually had a year off to actually work at if I could earn as much from being an author as I could
mm,
from working full time.
mm,
And after I could, um, I I quit, and I've
mm,
been writing ever since. I was first published in 2004.
mm,
So that's a
mm,
long time ago.
mm. Yeah. And like you're writing in three different genres. What did you start off with?
Um, well, actually, I sorry, I got my first contract with Harlequin.
Yep.
So I actually wrote for them maybe 40 books, but which was really great.
Mm,
But then I sort of always wanted to write, I suppose, try different things
mm,
as well. Um, so I actually have, and I'm still trying different things
yeah.
along the way.
So I imagine you must like be writing all three at the same time and then trying to promote all three at the same time. Is that
No,
no?
no, I mean, I've actually tried that, and I can't. I can only
Yeah.
write. yeah, I can only write one book at a
Mm.
time.
Mm.
But sort of how it works is like after I'd say I've written one book, handed it in, then I think, okay, I'll move on. But then what often happens is whilst I'm writing book 2, I'll get book 1 come back to me
Yeah, okay.
saying,
And you have to
you
do
know,
change.
look at this, improve
Mm.
this, hate this, love this.
Mm.
So then I find I actually have to work on 2 at once, but I'm
Mm.
actually only actually writing one book at a time, but I
Mm.
could be working on others at
Mm.
the same time.
Yeah, okay. And so how do you handle, like with 3 different publishers, how do you handle the demands from each of them?
It's work.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just have to work harder.
Mm.
It's
Do
very
you have
tiring.
much time to sleep?
Yes, I do, but I'm usually pretty tired,
Yeah,
as
yeah.
you can probably tell from the rings under my eyes.
So are you quite strict with scheduling your time?
Yes, yes and no.
Mm.
I mean, like I find I actually like to work from say 9 till 12
Mm.
non-stop. Then have lunch and then sort of head back to it for a few hours. And then if I've got lots of work, I'll then have to also uh, perhaps work, 2 or 3 hours at night.
Mm.
But I actually don't like doing that. I would
Mm.
rather do it, just work sort of hours during the day
Mm.
rather than night.
Mm. Mm.
Yeah.
And Kelly wonders if there's a book that you've enjoyed writing the most.
It's so hard to
With so
choose.
many as
So
well.
I have to say
Mm.
I've loved that one.
Yeah.
I mean, it was more. I thought, you know what? Like I'll just sit, not plot, and
Mm.
just write.
Mm.
Um, and it's amazing. It just flowed. It just
Yeah.
poured out, and it was fun. It was
Mm.
absolutely fun,
Mm.
and I absolutely love that book. So I hope everybody else loves it too.
Mm. And with like writing so many books, you must have so many characters. How do you do anything to keep track, and like do you avoid using the same names you've used before, and what do you do about that?
I was actually asked this question at the book launch last week, and
Oh, really? Okay.
unfortunately, I am very bad
Mm.
because I'm finding now I'm using the same names again, which I shouldn't be.
But
So
it's
I'm
pretty hard
definitely
not to.
going to start keeping track of them
Yeah.
because I think up to about book 20, I actually kept a book of them. So I
Mm.
would write down names. But since then, once I get like caught up in plotting and everything else, yeah, I'm finding,
Mm.
unfortunately, I've had a few names that I've used
Repeat.
more
No,
than
yeah.
once. So I will promise to try and do better with the naming.
I spoke to an author a while ago, and she said she actually has someone who works for her who keeps track of all the characters and everything for her.
That is a very good idea.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, no, I'm a bit more loose, I suppose,
Mm.
as far as yeah. I vow to improve.
Mm. And can you tell us with all your characters? Oh, so there was another question I wanted to check as well. Are all of your books standalone, or have you got any that are?
No, I've got lots of sort of like linked books.
Yeah.
Um,
Can you tell us a bit about that?
uh, well, actually, that one there that's actually just
Mm.
out now is linked.
Yeah.
So, uh, book 1 came out last year
Mm.
whilst I was in lockdown. So I had all my launches cancelled, book
Mm.
signings cancelled. So it was not good. Um, I've got quite a few linked books. My longest linked books is 4,
Okay. Yeah.
which was sort of a much sort of like hotter books series I wrote a few years back. It's brash, lush, bold, and bad.
Okay. So more steamy romance.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, yeah, definitely.
Yeah. And are there any other genres you want to write?
I think, I mean, I've actually tried lots. I think the one that I haven't done is historicals,
Mm,
which I might. I mean, I think it's hard though, because I think in that genre you need to know facts
yeah.
and spend a lot of time, sort of on the internet, looking things up.
Yeah. So a lot more
Because
research and
because I think all it takes is one small thing
yeah.
that's actually wrong,
Mm,
and then you're pulled out of the whole book. And it's
mm,
like, oh, how can she write that?
mm,
It's wrong. So I think, I mean, it's there in my head. So
mm.
maybe watch this space.
And what about research that you do for your books? Is there what sort of research have you done before?
Look, I mean, it's actually just like, I find I tend to just write,
Mm,
so it's not like I'm looking up lots of stuff prior to the book, but then whilst I'm in that sort of midst of the words, I sort of think, oh, hang on, but has that happened in 1984? So I
mm.
find then that I'm actually
You're
having
looking.
to look
Yeah.
things up whilst I'm immersed in the actual plot.
Mm,
Yeah.
mm. And I'm wondering if there is a character of all your characters that you would like to be for a day.
Oh, I've never been asked that question. That's really great. Oh, I'm a bit stumped here. Um,
You've got a
I,
lot to
I
choose
think
from.
I think I'd like to be, um, in my early days. Like I said, I was writing for Harlequins,
Mm,
so often you'll have this super rich hero, who meets a very feisty girl who says to him, "Come on, you need to improve." Um, and I think I'd like to be Zoe in Wanton 8,
okay.
because
Yeah.
because in that book, she's with a prince on a small
Okay.
like island.
Mm,
There's a huge storm, and yeah, it's a very hot book. So, and it was just fun. It
yeah.
was
Sounds
a
like a lot of
real,
fun.
real
Yeah. Yeah.
fun book. So, if I had to choose,
Mm,
I think I would be her for a
yeah.
day.
Sounds like a good choice. And Kelly says she'd love to see your take on a historical fiction book.
Oh, okay.
And
Well, I sort of have a little bit of a plot up here,
and you
but
might, yeah. So
we'll
we
see.
might see something in the near future.
You might.
Mm. Kelly also wonders if you've got a famous romance writer,
Sorry, what?
a
As in,
favorite romance
oh,
writer.
um, my probably, sort of like all-time favourite. She's not really uh, classified as pure romance now, but it's Barbara O'Neill.
Mm,
Um, I love her books. I actually have all her books, and I sit there and I just can't move, because
mm,
I'm just absorbed into every single thing that she's ever written.
mm,
And I think it's sort of like how she uses her words. Her prose is quite lush,
mm,
and I just love her stories.
mm. I'm wondering if while you're writing, do you have a favourite snack or drink?
I actually drink like herbal tea only,
Mm,
but it's not usually whilst I'm at work. So, like I said, I mean, like I'm sort of like in a zone.
mm,
um, but if I take like time off to have some lunch, I'll have
herbal, yeah.
herbal tea,
Mm,
and I don't have time to have sort of like any snacks really.
mm,
So I'll just sort of work all morning, sort of 9 to 12, and then
mm.
have lunch, and then work some more.
And when you're writing, do you have to have it perfectly quiet, or do you have music in the background, or
No, I like quiet.
yeah.
Yeah,
Mm. And when you finish a book, do you do anything special to celebrate that?
I don't, which is a bit
Mm.
sad. I think I should. No, because I mean, sort of like how it's been the last few years is as I finish one book, I actually have to almost dive into writing the next
To
one.
the next one, yeah.
So I really haven't really got lots of time,
Yeah.
but
Mm.
I think I should do that.
Yeah, you'll have to let us know. Post in the group if you do something to celebrate, to share.
I will.
And in the weekend, I went to in Sydney the Bad Crime Festival and met a lot of authors from the group and that, which was great. Just wondering, is there anything that you're doing that people can come and see you at?
Uh, I'll be doing a signing in the morning, but that's a bit of a sort of by fast notice.
Where are you
I'll be,
doing the signing?
it's at a Dimmick's bookstore in Knox.
Okay, yep.
Um, but yeah, like I said, it's notice. Um, Next up, I'll be signing at ARA, which is in Melbourne next February. And then I'll be signing at Rare at the convention centre in Melbourne, which is going to be huge. There's like
So that's the
yeah,
romance one, yep.
that's in April, and I've got one more, but I can't say yet. So sorry.
Okay. You'll have to let us know when you can. Do a
Yeah,
post in the
well,
group so people know.
for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah. No, sounds good. And what have you found to be your most difficult part of the writing process?
I think it's that the whole thing of I mean, like I've like written something, it's been handed to an editor, it's gone back and forth lots and lots of times,
Mm,
then it's been handed to a different copy editor, then it's handed to a different proof like editor, and then you have to hold on till it's out in the world, and you hope that every person who picks up that book thinks it's good,
mm,
which of course isn't always what happens. And it's like, oh, but you actually hate that book. How can you hate it? Because it's my little baby.
yeah, yeah.
But look, I mean, I've been writing for a long time now, and
Mm,
I'm used to that. So,
mm,
and I mean, look, it's like with movies, and books too. It's that like there's something I might love, you might
mm,
hate,
mm.
and
Yeah,
that's
everyone's not going to like
fine.
exactly the same. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And you, like you said, you have been writing for a long time. You've got lots of experience and been very successful. Is there anything that you wish that you know now that you wish you had have known when you first started out?
Yes, um, I think it's a huge thing that like lots of new authors um, want to have the huge advance, get the big contract,
Mm.
with a Penguin Random House or a huge mob.
Mm.
But there are lots of authors who are making a very good earnings off indie publishing as well.
Mm.
And like out there is a lot of help. There's like lots of, there's lots of editors, people to make your covers, lots of courses to learn how to do ads. There is a whole world out there which I'm actually like only sort of hearing about now. And like I
Yeah.
said, I've been writing for a long time, so there's lots of options out there. Sure.
And Belinda says, if any of your thrillers were made into a movie, do you have any favourite actors you'd like to see play in a movie for you?
Actually, I do.
Mm.
My actual first thriller is called The Scandal, and I always thought that the main character, who's a bit of a nasty pasty, I thought Tom Hiddleston would be perfect for him. He would just be like really, really good. Alongside Chris Hemsworth.
Okay, yeah.
More because there's a like, I think he's a cop. I'm so confused with all my plots. And yeah, he's big and brawny, but he's also hiding lots of things. And I just thought, yeah, he'd be perfect. Plus, I have to head to the movie set and the auditions and get to meet them.
Of course.
And I like both those actors.
Yeah.
So it would be a very hard job, but I'd be willing to do that.
Yeah. And when you were first starting out with your writing, did you have anyone who really encouraged you?
I think, I mean, it was more that it was really, really new. And like I said, I was working sort of full time. And I actually told sort of like everyone at work, oh, guess what? I'm going to write a book. And they all just laughed at me. And it was like, you're going to write a book? But of course, after
who's laughing now?
I was like, yes, who's laughing now?
Have any of those people that you worked with ever you've met them again or anything? Or
well, actually, I had a book signing a couple of years back, and yeah, but it was fun.
Yeah,
it was good. It was like, oh, hi,
yeah.
how are you?
You did write a book.
I've written quite a few books.
And when you're writing, are you a planner or a plotter? A pantser, sorry.
Yeah, I mean, in the past I would plot more, but I find now I'm not. So I sort of tend to have an idea of like where things have to go, but I tend to pants it.
Yeah.
So I just write and it just happens.
And what about readers contacting you? Have you had anything strange or touching or something that you'd like to share with us?
Yeah, I mean, as far as life goes, I mean, I think I read to escape, and I think lots of people do that too. And I think in hard times, it's really, really good to actually have a book there and just mind cleared. So sort of, I mean, like each time I've heard from a person who say has been in hospital or has been through a hard time, that really to me is like, oh wow, it's really, really nice.
Yeah. Well, thanks so much for chatting with me. It's been great talking to you. And And yeah, like I said, really totally recommend people go out and read your books. There's a lot to choose from.
Mhm.
Do you want to let people know how they can keep in touch with you?
I'm online everywhere. I'm on Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, LinkedIn, Pinterest. Shall I go
So
on?
we'll find you easily.
You will find me for sure.
Well, thanks for that. And also want to just say thanks for the people who joined in and the questions that we had. And I certainly look forward to reading more of your books.
Great. And thank you to all the readers who did join in tonight. And thanks for the lovely chat, Jackie.
Thank you. Thanks. Bye, everyone.